Snobs podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Snobs podcast. It is Tuesday night, and I feel all right, especially with that lighting behind my my counterpart for this evening, Mr. Roy Rogers. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing okay.
I appreciate you being back. You're filling in the space. Paul is still at it, kicking butt. We love him. So take care of yourself, Paul, out there, and be good. And we'll see you as soon as we can. But Joe, thank you so much for filling the spot and hanging out and just joining in the fun. Because that's what this is. This is like a kumbaya moment. Nothing stressful in here.
Nope. Nothing at all.
You know what? I feel like for weeks now, I have been sort of like everything's whatever. But I want to celebrate something. A little bit of good news. A little bit of prideful news, if you will. And that is we are coming up on Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, out of New Jersey, by the way. Boom, bring it home, baby. Out of New Jersey has been marathon speeching on the, because it's not really a filibuster. It's not really like trying to sway legislation or anything, but so he's been marathon speeching, I guess it's called, for 24 hours. And now it's over 24 hours, 24 hours, 2 minutes. And the record is held by Strom Thurgood in, I don't know what year, but it was against the Civil Rights Act. I mean, it's kind of a dick move within itself, but so Cory Booker is going to beat him in just a short time, and that's going to be pretty interesting. And this man has been saying a lot. He's been on his feet, no bathroom breaks, nothing. Can't like eat anything if you didn't have it up there or whatever. Good on him. Hope he gets some rest for the next few days. So I wanted to just bring it up and shine a light on that. Congratulations to him and going out there and seeing movement from the other side a little bit. So, but this is a movie podcast, and we like to talk to you about movies. Have you ever been without a movie? We've been there. Joe, that's your line. You gotta take that one.
Have I ever been without a movie?
Nah, you son of a gun. He never knows his lines. I'm messing around with you.
I don't know that one. I'm sorry.
No, I'm having some fun tonight. I'm enjoying myself. I am. I'm excited. I want to see if this happens. You know, I got the live feed going on right now. And I'm excited to talk about tonight's topics. It's April Fools. So
is it though?
I think this might be the first time the show has ever fallen on April Fool's Day. And I'm excited for that.
Cool.
You know, Joe, what if I told you I died and you're talking to my spirit? April Fools. It's me.
Okay. All right.
I got you. The problem with us is we have a deadpan humor, or we'll just quote random stuff. And it makes no sense. Like nobody outside, and it's so like I was talking to my wife earlier about like it's nice being able to talk to Joe about stuff and kind of like I don't know, sometimes get back into like film set talk. And that in the past few weeks, like we've been doing that, and that's why it got me like onto tonight's like sort of topic, semi-topic. Which I was just like, you know what that's like because she's a veteran. So I was like, so if you talk to other veterans, like, stuff, that only veterans know. So that's like us, but with film stuff. So say something filmy. Go ahead.
Action. I was just thinking of our old friend who used to, he would say, roll camera, speed. It's like, wait, no, you don't say that. The sound guy says that. You don't say that.
Every time. And again, like this is more of that stuff where it's just like nobody's gonna understand our humor. I'm sorry, that's just the way we are. Joe and I go back a very long way. And oh my god, I think we go back pre-Facebook.
Yeah, early when you still have to have a college email address to get a Facebook profile.
Yeah, that's true. But most of our work was done on what do you call it? On MySpace. Blast from the past. Can we go back to that? Can that be the tech bros that we're dealing with today? Where's Tom? Tom was my friend.
He was my friend too.
He was everybody's friend.
He was
Tom
everybody's
for president. Oh, MySpace. It was a good one. I don't even I had a MySpace account. Did they just close?
It got bought by CBS, I believe.
That's the weirdest take.
And then it got turned into like something akin to like Bandcamp, where it was like so bands could, because bands were like really using it on MySpace.
Oh, okay.
For their bands, and so they kind of leaned into that, and it became this space for bands to promote themselves. And then it's like, oh, who'd have thought if you limit the scope of what your social media site does, nobody would want to be on it anymore.
Dude, do you remember the conversations we had on the back porch?
Oh yeah.
Remember we talked about streaming before? Like, I think there was like me, you, and I think it was, I forget who else it was, but like we were like, no, it's all gonna go to online, like in streaming, and like you're gonna be able to watch it on TV. And like everybody else, like, no way, man. They're never gonna get rid of theaters, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still am kind of surprised that it has the pandemic had a big effect on
oh, of course,
people changing up their habits. And when a lot of people found out that you could have a much cheaper experience watching a movie at home in your living room, and you can pause the movie to go take a crap, then people were, it's still kind of a fun thing to go out. But like, I don't even want to go out unless it's to like one of those theaters that serves food and stuff. Like we have Flicks Brew House.
Oh, you got to go all in if you're going to a theater.
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm gonna be dropping a C note on a
that's
family
fair.
outing, might as well get like a nice ass burger.
I miss those old car mics though, where there was like you can go $5 movie night.
Oh yeah,
and of course, like I get why that doesn't work anymore, but you know what I mean. But it's hard for upkeep when you're massively underselling yourself every week.
Mm-hmm.
But like I miss those old theaters, man. They were still worth it going to see movies in them, even though like ceiling tile was falling down sometimes
during the movie.
During the movies.
Like, oh, what just happened?
I remember I walked into one. I think I brought a date. And I go in, and like one section in the center, right, is like has plastic over it, and there's clearly pieces from the ceiling laying on top of that plastic. And we walk in, and I forget what she said, but I was just like, I mean, I kind of want to see this. So there's not much I cared about in terms of the movies. But like I like those theaters. They were a lot of fun.
I mean, I gotta say this is just for me personally. One of the reasons I stopped going to movie theaters a long time ago was they were so freezing. It was always freezing in the movie theaters because they were always like, it was like they're climate controlled for having 100 or 200 people inside the place.
Oh, you are such a baby about the cold. Put on a hoodie.
But it was like if you went at a later showing, where it wasn't as crowded, it was freezing in there. And we lived in California. I wore shorts all the time.
You always close the window too early. It was so hot. You're always so cold about everything.
Yeah, I know. Because it was
like,
cold.
you gotta start moving. It's getting in blood out. They used to, it would be like 100 degrees outside, dead heat, dry ass heat in Los Angeles, and there you are and like just the windows open. I'm getting that cross breeze finally. It's like God was finally like, all right, we're gonna part the smog and we're gonna allow some wind to kind of fit through, and we come through, and that's when Joe would be like, too cold. Okay, close the window. Just like,
As the sun went down, it got cold.
It was California. When the sun goes down, it's still hot as hell. You did that in Florida too.
Florida at least was humid.
Yeah,
I like the humidity.
I don't know how you did it. You always wore that hoodie. I was like, dude, I would go into class and it would be -40. You know, it would just be freezing in there all the time. Full Sail. Listen, for anybody who wants to go to film school, if you decide to go to Full Sail, bundle up, but then bring a bag because you're gonna have to shed all of that. Because the second you go outside, you look like Indiana Jones at the end of Temple of Doom. It's, dude, that humidity was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Make good choices, Florida. So I can still say that. Oh my God, man. I gotta tell you, that still drives me crazy. Every time my wife will like turn off the air or close the window, I like think back and I'm like, fucking Joe. Never want to turn the.
I was a little hungry. I thought about bringing some chips in. Mike hates the crunching sound. Apparently, that's a pretty common thing.
That
I'm really irritated by the sound of other people crunching. Like
I have to have something on while my family is chewing. There has to be something to drown out.
You can't just sit at dinner and you're...
When I make dinner, it's very soft. The dinner is very
nothing with crunches in it.
When they eat cereal in the morning, I have to have something on. I have to put something on. And like I have to turn it up. And if I don't get to turn something on before they go, I'm just like, oh my God, why are you so loud? Probably normal level of humanity.
I had a temporary roommate once, and we used to watch movies every night because it was just part of his routine. He was just watching a movie every night, and so I was like, all right, everybody goes to sleep, and I'd hang out with him. But part of his routine was he would get dinner, like he'd be out doing his errands and stuff. He'd bring himself home dinner, and then he'd eat it while he was watching the movie. And you'd think, like, I got my bad ear, my one bad ear, and it was pointed toward him, but I could always hear that.
Yep, it's the worst.
It's the worst. Especially when you're watching a movie, that does the loud, quiet, and it's like, oh, it's a quiet scene. Now I have to listen to him chew for a while.
It's not like I'm fearful of any of this stuff. It's not like I'm scared of it. It's just that I'm annoyed. Like it's just immediately annoyed. And like I have worked on my temper about it. And with my kids, I'm like, I'm just like like I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'm not gonna yell. You can't yell because they're chewing. So I like plead with them. I'm like, dear God, please stop. Just stop. I was like, eat a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
No, they eat, but I have to get up and walk out. I was like, I can't listen. It drives me nuts.
Here's a bowl of peanut butter.
Which, mind you, comes on handy on film sets when you have noisy dogs.
And to get them to talk. Like they would,
They
would use that as a trick to get dogs to talk.
Yeah, you're the VFX guy. That would be what you do.
I wish they would use the peanut butter trick instead of making us.
Wait, is that a joke? So it looks like nuts. Joe's like, gotta get it by any means necessary. I'm sorry. That one. Old jokes aside. Listen. Dude, it's so messed up. Peanut butter. A bowl of peanut butter. All right. I realize for a podcast, this is terrible humor. You are a terrible co-host when I don't when I'm like, hey, let's riff tonight. Like in my mind, I'm like, I can't because like we quote like Three Stooges and shit.
Yeah, we'll just talk about random stuff. Hey, remember that time that the guy walked up to us outside of the apartment?
Jack Sparrow?
Well, there was that time we saw Jack Sparrow walk down the street. Oh yeah, the one I was actually thinking of was one time that you weren't there, that the lady who came up and said that she was Goldie Hawn's psychic.
Didn't you come up and tell me that like I was upstairs?
I think no, because there was some other people that were staying when you went back. I don't want to go on another tangent, but it was when you had left. You had left at that point, and somebody else was staying in your old bedroom, and the guy was out. I was out having a cigarette, and he was just hanging out with me. And this lady comes walking down the street, and she starts talking to us. We aren't sure if she's speaking English or not. She's kind of like, it sounds kind of gibberish. We weren't quite telling what she was, but she would switch between something like, some other language.
Put a curse on you?
No, no, just she was like, she said something. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, blah, 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 blah. I am Goldie Hawn's psychic. So blah, 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 you're an idiot. And then she just walked away.
That is the most accurate description a psychic could ever give you.
Yeah. I was an idiot for not understanding what she was saying.
You're an idiot. Here's a hex. And you're just like...
Yes, and then the drag me to hell scenario played out.
She comes up to you and she's just like, in her language or whatever, her hex language, because I'm just imagining, like, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. But I'm just imagining, I think, what we all know when it comes to hexes. All right? Watch, like, Thinner or Drag Me to Hell. So I'm just imagining walking up to you and in their language, because she's like, hey, you want me to put a hex on you? I'm Goldie, then goes into regular English, Goldie Hawn's ex-psychic, and then goes right back into, just sit there and look dumb if you want me to put a hex on you.
She tricked me.
She tricked you, yeah. Oh my God, dude, yeah, we did see a lot of. Remember when we had lunch with Dave Grohl?
Yeah, sort of. You were sitting right next to him,
and
he gave me the nod.
Listen, it was the Earth. It was the Earth. All right, listen.
Earth Cafe.
You gotta.
Which you wanted to go to because of Entourage.
Because of Entourage, which is a terrible show. I tried to revisit it, and I'm like, wow, what were we in the early 2000s? Like, we were monsters? Like, no wonder there's so many, like, cancellations
it does
now.
Yeah, I remember thinking, I was like,
there's a topic for you.
What?
There's a topic for you.
Yeah. Well, we rewatched it. Mel and I watched it last year, and there are a lot of Deus Ex Machinas in the end there. We're just like, oh, everything just worked out. Hey, let's get on a private jet and fly off into the sunset. See you next season.
Oh my God. So many things from like the year 2000 to the year 2010 were bonkers. It really was just like, yeah, I know we talk about the big stuff like 9/11, and then we have, the Iraq War, and then we have,
Beanie Babies.
No, that's the 90s.
No, I know.
That's pre Y2K, dude.
You're right.
Y2K was a light switch. You will never not convince me of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, celebrate the 2000 year, because in 2001, fuck y'all, it goes downhill from here. And it's just like, great.
Yeah.
So now we're just living in a nightmarescape. So whenever somebody's like, no, it's 2012 when this happened, or no, it's like 2016, it's like, nah, it's Y2K. We were wondering what was going to happen, and that's what happened.
Actually, Adam Conover did a video about that, about why it seems like we keep track of time differently. It used to be like, it was the 60s, it was the 70s, it was the 80s, and then in 2000 there wasn't really a name for it, you know.
The knots, I thought.
Well, there was naughties or the oddies or the zeros, but there wasn't any kind of agreed upon term. And the same thing was sort of with the teens. Was it the teens? Would you call it the teens? But it's like we don't call it the 20s. We're in the middle of the 20s now, but we don't call it the 20s.
No.
You know, and it is definitely, and then 9/11 changed a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like our brains just don't think, we don't cluster things the way we did neatly into decades anymore.
But think about it from this perspective. We've never really, when we're in it, thought about it as we're in the 80s, we're in the 90s, like it's 19 whatever, and then we would think about the past, like our parents' past, and be like the 50s to 60s, 70s. So like we never really like thought about it from that perspective, like because that's almost like if you think about it as a kid, oh, we're in the 80s. We didn't say that. That's nomenclature. And now
the first few years of the 80s looked like the 70s, and the first few years of the 90s looked like the 80s. You know, they didn't. It wasn't like suddenly we were in a new decade and everything changed. Like when you go back and you watch videos of 9/11, if you see a video of like from cameras on the street and you look at the clothes that people were wearing, and like they look like they're from the 90s. You know, even though it's now, then it was the 2001, but
everything blends. That's what I mean. Like that's why when you're in it, you don't think in those terms, but you do about the past. So like we think about that, but when it comes to the 2000s, again, going back to the light switch Y2K theory, where somebody rebooted and it rebooted improperly, as I like to put it. Like you don't think about. You can't really think about it in that sense because it's since 2001, something, not even 2000. We had the election, the recount, everything. Like that's just overshadowed by the fact that 9/11 happened, and then we went to war, and then like, again, what happened? It was the recession, the bubble, housing bubble. You know, and then we went into the recession, Occupy Wall Street. Then we're into this, then we're into Trump 1, and then we're into Biden, then we're into Trump 2. So can we just call this time the Dark Ages?
Like, probably will get referred to in retrospect.
Like if we really think about it, we've been out 25 years in the Dark Ages. And I don't really think that's I think we need a Renaissance period. I hope if anything, with all of the stress that happens, I hope I'm around to see it. But with everything that's going on, that the good that comes of it is that we like learn something all together, and we can have like a Renaissance period where we're all like, but not like lavish, rich Renaissance period, but like a new, like the new cultural and the artistic and everything like was just vibrant and exploded, and it was different. It was a different world. So, and that happens every so often. Some dark periods come up, and then we get some. Look at the 50s, yeah. So, look at the 80s, but I want it for longer.
Yeah,
let's make it last like 4. Like that's another thing. That's another thing about time. That's right. Oh, think about this. So, yeah, we think about history, like recent history, like 50, 60, 70, and then when we say turn of the century, we still mean the 1800s and the 1900s. You know what I mean? And then like we describe everything for the last 25 years by era, much like we did way back in the day with like the Renaissance and stuff. Because the Renaissance was like 500 years, some shit like that, and I'm probably underselling it by a lot.
Actually, that just reminds me of I watched something on YouTube that I think I watched. It was maybe I don't remember what it was, but something was related to Inception, and it was like last year. Watched it. I saw a comment that said like, "Oh my God, this movie is 12 years old," and I looked at the comment and I'm like, "Oh God, this comment was from 12 years ago." This comment is as old. the movie was as old when this comment was made as this comment is now.
Jesus.
It made me like, I was like, oh wow, like we're oh wait 14. Sorry, 14. I did the math in my head wrong. Not 12. Just 7 years. It was 7 years, but yes, like they made the comment in like 2017, and it was 2024, and it was 7 years difference between the two, and it was like, just one of those made you feel old kind of moments. Like, oh God, this movie's 14 years old.
Jesus Christ. You're the worst at this. You're making me feel older every time you talk. God, and I'm older than you already.
You know what? In just a couple more years, I'm going to be as old as Patrick Stewart was at the start of Star Trek Next Generation. Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton, who you've talked to, you've had on your program
Yes,
before.
He was a great guy to interview.
And he's now older than Patrick Stewart was at the start of Star Trek.
I think that one meme where it really screwed me up was once Cobra Kai came out, and they were like, Ralph Macchio is now the same age as Mr. Miyagi was, and then it was like 5 years, and now he's like 10 or 15 years older since that meme started, and it's like, ow. I feel like he should still be here. Like, I don't know. No, but it was just wild. Time, dude. It really is. Like, how come it can't move faster and we get to 4 years? I don't know. But we can definitely feel like we've been in the last 4 years for the last 70 days. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? Actually, I want to talk to you about movies for a second, because I'm gonna review.
Movies.
Yeah, movies.
It's not a movie podcast.
Not the sullen podcast. I'm trying to pick myself back up.
All right.
You didn't strum the guitar, so I'm not like.
I can
actually, you strumming the guitar almost sort of would work because of the one movie that I'm going to be reviewing tonight.
Okay.
Oh shit! I think I pulled something. I think I broke something, and it was funny. So anyway, I kicked my foot out, and then I pulled. I want to make sure I didn't like ruin anything. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right, live, everybody. You think I'm an amateur, and I am tonight because I'm just sort of coasting and enjoying. We've been hanging out. We were having some laughs earlier before the show. And now, so I want to talk about a couple of movies. Well, first off, I finished Adolescence. I did tell you I wanted to talk to you about that. Amazing show. I'm not going to go on the same like tear I did last week because like we kind of really went into like that. But it was just I didn't watch the last episode by that point. I have since then, and the final episode is about the family, the kid who killed the little girl, his family, and just how like a year later how their lives are still affected by it, and just like sort of like what it does to people and where it comes from. But man, as a father, I don't know how I'm going to say this. It had this. I can think about when we should do this for a top 5 at some point, but like finales, this might be one of like a finale that just completely floored me. Like, I don't want to give away too much, but like the final line is, I should have done better. And it was the father saying it. And it's like, it just hits you like a gut punch. So like I think everybody should watch the show. Like I've been having some debates with some people about it online. And a lot of times it's like, man, yeah, you missed the point quite a bit. Because you're like quite obviously arguing for the thing that they're talking about, and you don't even realize that you are one of them. It's ironic, really, don't you think? But
I wasn't gonna say it.
I can't. Every time I have to say it. So no, but like thinking about that and like having some debates with people where I was like, I think they should show this in schools. I think kids of a certain age should watch this because it is, and like not just boys, like girls too. Like it's an empowering sort of thing. Like to watch this, I think parents should watch this too to become more aware of a lot of stuff. And I don't know why that's a bad thing. Some people think it is. It's so wild to me, but I just really do. I think this is a brilliant show. Now, on the other hand, I've also been watching season 3 of The White Lotus. Another very good character study. But I'm going to tell you, I don't know what's going to happen on this show. I guess every season, I haven't watched first 2 seasons, so I guess every season it kicks off with like either death or something big's happening, but it's vague. You don't really know what's going on. Well, this season started with what seemed like a mass shooting at the White Lotus in Thailand. And then you go like you fast forward, or you rewind back to when all these like different people came to this resort, and it's like their 7 days or 8 days or whatever vacation there, and you just follow them throughout their vacation. And there's a lot of different mysterious things that happen, things that play like there's a lot of like relationship building and stuff like that. It's a really interesting character study. And I like a lot of the actors that were on this season. They always have an ensemble cast, and I was like interested to see them this season. So I've been checking it out. All right. A wild show, man. HBO is I don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't know what HBO's tone is. Because you got so many odd things going on at once. Like, right now, just my rotation of whatever's on HBO or Max is I watch John Oliver, of course, which seems like not a fit for HBO. You know what I mean? Like Bill Maher seems their speed, where he thinks he's left leaning. You're kind of like, all right, bud. You're like, we got you. You're like a Republican with like some liberal views. Like you like to smoke pot. You're basically Joe Rogan. You're an old Joe Rogan. Honestly, you're less interested in Joe Rogan with an HBO show.
Breaking more stuff. Now we can't hear you. Am I going to have to fill your dead air? Yeah, you're still.
Hello?
There you go.
Now I realize what I hit with my foot. Dude, I needed this. This is the first time where I'm just like unwinded from a show and I'm live and I'm just enjoying it. And I don't give a shit.
There you go. I mean, that's what our April 1st episode should be.
Haha, you thought you were getting a real show. We do have a real show. We're going to be doing something soon.
Eventually.
I don't know. I just been having fun. I just, what I think I needed? Like, there's been so much lately. And not just like out in the world, at home too. Like, been doing a lot of stuff at home. And it's like what else? And then like getting ready to do the show, I was like, I got nothing. I was like, I haven't thought of a topic. I was like, I thought of the top 5, like, and I have my reviews all set up and stuff and ready to go. But I, like, just like for the shows, like, I think I just kind of needed a relaxing, like, feel free, like, topic-y, I don't give a shit what people think show. It feels good. Yeah. It does. So, thank you, Joe. Hey, Jasper, what comes after 75?
76.
That's the spirit. And welcome to our top 5 countdown of movie pranks. And here's where it gets a little more structured. If you guys love gibberish, go back and hang out and watch the rest of the podcast. But welcome. It's top 5 countdown, movie pranks. So did you... Now, I've told you can put whatever parameter you want on your lists, right? But for you, what was it? Like, did you put a parameter like where it was like pranks on movie sets, or
I don't know. I thought of a couple that just came to mind, and I didn't really formally write down any in any order or anything like that.
All right. Let's start at number 5 then. You want to go with your 5, or you want to save them for your top 3?
I don't have 5. I was just gonna have random things. I
know what I'm gonna say, and I know what you're gonna think. You're gonna be like, "Why didn't I think of this movie?" It probably would have been everyone from this movie, and that is the dead hooker from Dirty Work. If you have not seen Dirty Work, you are doing yourself a disservice, because Dirty Work is one of the funniest movies, and Norm Macdonald is a comedic genius. Oh my God, man. Everything about that movie is just so hilarious. And every prank that he pulls in that movie is just, it tops like the next. And the dead hooker in the trunk prank with the guy trying to sell the cars in the live commercial was perfect. If you have not seen it, go see Dirty Work. All right, let's go to number 4. Since Joe didn't come prepared. Mine is from Super Troopers. It's the high-speed car chase. Like, you boys want to go to Mexico?
You boys like Mexico?
The whole thing from beginning to end is perfect. Like, just I love that whole prank. So that's number 4. Oh, and if you haven't checked out Super Troopers, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's comedy gold. So number 3, and this is where Joe can start because he finally did something. Would you write him down on a matchbox?
I didn't write it down.
You son of a gun. I'm gonna let you go first.
Is it? I mean, is it the same one? The candy bar in the pool? That's the one I was thinking of.
No, I'm just letting you
Caddyshack.
go. Is that the only one you have?
That was the one. That was the first thing that I thought of.
I remember we talked about it a little bit.
I didn't want you to about like, do you want pranks on set or what? You know, like I didn't put any more thought into it.
Your parameters, sir. All right. Well, I mean that's cute.
It's all right.
It's a cute one. Good job, Joe.
It was okay.
So my number 3 is when they kidnap Nina Meyer's horse in Animal House and it dies because they've given him a heart attack. I love that scene so much. When they scare it and has the heart I don't. Well, listen, if you haven't seen Animal House, then you don't understand. You just don't understand the good comedy. And you should, because it's amazing. But that whole sequence, everything was just fantastic. That whole like kidnapping the horse thing. Oh, wait, we did your number 3. What's your number 2, sir?
I mean, another one that I thought of was when it was behind the scenes. It's an outtake. It's in the movie because it's during the credits. Liar, liar. When she says overactor to his face. That's the case of a prank that was actually pulled on set.
Did you ever see Fire Marshal Bill in it?
Oh yeah, when he's in the background.
When he's in the background at the airport. Like, how did he do it? Because they just like wheeled him off the camera, and then like
and the fact that I never noticed it. I when somebody pointed it out, I'm like, how did I never notice this?
It's right there too.
Yeah.
It's so prominent, and I loved it. And I can't believe it took until like YouTube existed for me to find that out. We just weren't paying attention. We were just like trying to like engulf ourselves or engorge ourselves in gold. Engulge. I make up another word.
Oh, dude, I'm feeling very diuretic. Feeling very engulged right now.
If you diuretic and it all gets out, you get hungry. So you gotta eat. So what you do is put a trough on, and it's
you know, you too
much, and you engorgulate yourself. So another inside joke from the podcast, like I sometimes used to just make up words and then slip them into what was it? So I would just like make up a word and slip it into casual conversation like it exists.
I mean, there were several of them, like
There's so
politicians.
many. Oh my god, I'm very trafficated. It's very trafficated right now. It's so bad. Oh, there are so many stupid words. So anyway, what was your number 2? Oh, your number 2
It
is
was the liar, liar,
liar. That was a good one. And then I guess I found my clip for the episode. Mine was Columbus. From what is it called? Zombieland. Bill Murray when he scares Columbus. When he's the zombie and he comes in, scares the hell out of him. And it was a fun little prank on the audience too. Because I'm not gonna ruin that one. You people go watch that. That's a good one.
Go see that.
So I like Zombieland. But all right, what is your lame ass number 1?
My lame ass number 1 that again, random things I thought of was the Back to the Future when they gave Michael J. Fox a bottle that actually had liquor in it.
Yeah,
like he was supposed to. It was prop, and he was supposed to take a swig of the liquor.
he's like,
then he does the spit take, but it actually had liquor. It had real liquor in it, and he realized, like, oh, and then he takes a drink.
Well, at least I got the realism of it. No, actually, I do remember
the other funny one was when he does like his Cheech.
Oh my god, when he comes in there at the school,
he's smoking a cigarette, like, oh, look at this bitch, man, it's just cheating, man.
It's so wild. They have some good outtakes on that one.
Yeah,
I like that. But my number 1 is the House of Popcorn in Real Genius. When they fired the laser back.
Don't know that one.
You haven't seen Real Genius with Val Kilmer?
Oh, that's the one where it was.
He was in college. He was the whiz kid.
I have seen it very long time ago. I don't remember it.
How have you not seen that?
I have a long time ago.
Not seen that like in the right amount of time. Like I feel like for somebody who watches The Black Hole as much as you do, you should have seen Real Genius more than. How many times have you watched The Black Hole in life?
I mean, I watched it a lot when I was a kid. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. Upward of 10.
I think the last time I distinctly remember watching it was the time that I sat next to Robert Forster.
Oh, shut up.
Movie theater.
You and your bullshit. The story's true, but he's still bullshit.
And I got to talk to him again a few months before he passed away, and talk to him about that time we went to go see Black Hole.
See his own movie together.
Yeah, he was just taking his grandkid. He wasn't like a guest or anything. He just was like, hey, want to come see this movie that Grandpa was in? And then he just took him to it. And then Mel was sitting next to me, and she's like, I think that's an actor. And I'm like, if it's who I think it is, he's in this movie.
He's in this movie, dude. I'm going to Carolina Fear Fest in May, right? So I do it every year. One of the spokespeople, I guess. But old school spokespeople, not like influencer spokespeople. No influence to be had here. So no, but anyway, I am going to be there, and Malcolm McDowell's going. So I'm going to try and be like, remember that guy who was your personal assistant in 2008 at the Florida Film Festival? You remember him? Do you? And he's, I don't. Oh, he was me.
And then he starts beating you.
Oh, 100% with a cane while whistling. Oh my god. I mean, that's fine by me as long as it's not Caligula, am I right? Oh wait, I'm getting my movies wrong. It's all of them. It's everything he's in. And
then he starts like trying to destroy the sun so that he can get back to the Nexus.
Oh my god, yeah. I always forget about Generations in him. I like them in it. No, I don't forget about Generation. I sometimes forget he was in it. It's an oversight. Leave me alone.
Well, he was on Community too. You could ask him about his.
Oh yeah, he was on.
Hey, what was it like working with Abed
I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Anyway.
What was it like working with Anna Paquin?
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's our top 5 countdown of movie price. It's like one inside joke after the other, and I can't handle it. This is the Scene Snobs Reviews, and I'm talking about A Working Man starring Jason Statham. And am I ever talking about A Working Man with Jason Statham? This is the much anticipated follow-up movie to The Beekeeper from last year. You can go back and check out my review on that. Oh God, how many of these are there? And this one's like somehow worse. This one's somehow like worse than The Beekeeper, which was like when I watched it, I was like, it's kind of funny at least. Like there was a lot of bee puns in it. Like bee specific, like with the shit like that, like because he was a beekeeper. I'm not kidding. Like he was okay. So
what is this
I can't believe I have to explain the first movie to even like get to this movie to understand the absurdity of it. So because I can understand the influence. David Ayer directed The Beekeeper, but it was written by another guy. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry at the moment. Kurt something I want to say, but I'm sorry if I did look it up, but I just don't have it at the moment. I'm sorry. So, and David Ayer, he's like the one who wrote and directed The Suicide Squad and a few others. He's got a good eye. I do not think he writes good stories. But as a director though, I was like, he's good eye for action, stuff like that. I like his action sequences. It's just the stories are out there. So, with that being said, I think that's why I like The Beekeeper. And when I say I'm being like it was fun, like I'm never going to watch it again. That should be the distinction right now. Is when I say I liked it enough to be like I might even like it more because I saw this movie. So that says something. So now to let me review the movie I've come here to review after my tangent about last year's debacle with Jason Statham. David Ayer's back with this one, A Working Man. And he co-wrote it with Sylvester Stallone. And let me tell you, if you're wondering, hey, is this movie like The Beekeeper? It seems like it when you watch commercials. I have to say, no, it's not. It's not like The Beekeeper. Because Sylvester Stallone definitely got his hands on this script. And he Sylvester Stalloned it. So, that works. It worked almost a little too well. Yeah, he definitely Stallone this. And I thought, okay, I don't know what to think because there were like Viking bikers in this, there was like drug kingpin Jesus. Again, not an exaggeration. There were like 2 separate Russian mob bosses. One was a maniac, I guess, who had a lot of maniac kids. And the other one was like his brother. And again, and I don't know if Stallone got the memo, but the Russians, I guess, are the good guys now, as per his friends. So I'm not 100% sure what we're doing here. It just like, so basically Statham plays the same exact character he plays in almost everything now since The Transporter. Mm-hmm. Like this man was in Lock, Stock, and he was in Snatch. And I know he's been in other good movies too. Some. But like, why does he Liam Neeson himself? I get Liam Neeson. He got taken at like 57. What else was he going to do? He rode the train as hard as he could. Good for him. Like at 57, but Statham, you still look like you're 27. And you're already in a couple of franchises that already calls for you to be this badass hero. Can't you do anything else? Why does it have to be everything is sort of like The Transporter? Where, yeah, okay. And it's on the nose, too. Like, when I say The Beekeeper, he was a beekeeper. Like, listen, I'm not kidding. When I say A Working Man, Clearly, he's a construction worker, and he is. He's like a foreman on a construction site, but he's ultra badass military. But just like in The Beekeeper, he was ultra badass CIA beekeepers. They always like saved the hive or whatever it was, and like now he's retired and became a beekeeper. So I wish I would. And like, what bothers me too is you have a really good actor in Michael Pena in this movie, and he's in it for like 10 seconds. Like seriously, like I don't even know. It was like a cameo. He plays the dad of the girl who hires him, who works on his construction site to go save his daughter who was kidnapped by the Russian mob. I guess oligarchs. I don't know. But it's like the seedy underground. But they don't. They only traffic girls for one guy who's like maybe a serial killer. Okay. I know, but then like you have it's so bonkers, man. I'm trying to explain it, and that's the problem. If I can't really explain it that well, but basically, point A to point B, it's girl gets kidnapped. He gets hired to come get her. He's ultra badass military, and does it. You know, that's it. That's it. It's the transporter every time. You know, like he's just one of, you know, it's like the beginning is like this whole like, and he, again, why is everything so pro America, right? America, like soldiers coming home, doing it, but there's not one actor who's American who can play the American badass. Like it felt like there were more Americans being portrayed in the bad guy side, and then Statham rolls in and he's like I don't even know. He just has a patch where it's half the Union Jack and half the American flag, and I don't understand. Like, I guess he works for both. Like they were at war together or whatever. But
like
I don't know why he
revolutionary. He wants to go back to the monarchy.
Well, who knows? So he might get his wish if he keeps fighting the good fight the way he is every year. I don't know what he's going to be next year though. Like the movie Usher. It's going to compete with like Tarantino's The Movie Critic. It's like the movie Usher. When this movie theater gets overtaken, ex-CIA paramilitary operative Jason Statham, the badass American from the Brits.
Make it like a spin-off of Four Rooms. You get is it Tim Roth?
Tim Roth was
yeah. He could be the bellhop, and he could be the usher, and they'll buddy up.
I can't joke while I'm doing it. It's only you. So, no, it honestly, like a Working Man was just kind of dull. It wasn't that great. The story wasn't that fun. And at one point, one last thing, and then I'm leaving. Then I gave it a 1 out of 5. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Because God, like God damn. Is this what we're doomed to? Like, is this the entertainment we're going to get from now on? Because this isn't, I don't know. And I don't mean to nitpick, but like these motorcycles drove in and the moon was right behind them. Giant as hell. Like, I'm talking about like they drove in and like it was such a set. It was such a built set. It wasn't even like green screen. It was so wild. Anyway, I had to rant about that. But that's a Working Man. It makes no sense. None of it makes sense. That's the best I could say. It's just a working guy. He goes and he kills people. It's not John Wick. I would say watch John Wick again. Actually, don't watch this. Watch Love Hurts. Or if you want, I mean, if you want to watch a Working Man, go right ahead. I don't care. But like, if you're like a thinking man, you might want to go towards something maybe a little more fun. And I'm gonna say don't. And I was kidding about thinking that thing, but play on words. Wordplay, Jack Donaghy. But I love that show.
You're gonna open a whole new set of floodgates with the 30 Rock.
Oh my God, 30 Rock would be a problem. Community was close enough.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten to our Pedro Pascal talk yet. So, so anyway, we're getting a little off topic, but yeah, Working Man. It's just I would go like Love Hurts if you're looking for something really good. Love Hurts was a lot of fun. It's a little more comedic. This just took itself too seriously. Or if you're really in a Statham kick, watch The Beekeeper. It was better. So that's my 1 cent about that. On to the yeah, there we go. This was better at least. The thescenesnobs reviews Odessa from Hulu. So it's a rock opera, and for those of you who do not know this about old Mickey Manhattan, he likes rock operas. I enjoy rock operas. Listen, I started on the stage, man. I love the stage. I love theater, my theater groups and troops, and it's been a long time, but like by extension, the musicals, the rock operas, things like that. That I love them. Now, I didn't hate Odessa. I feel like I should start here. It was better. Like if you had to choose between the last movie and this movie, I'd say watch this movie. The music's pretty good. It's like 9 Inch Nails, but Kids Bop. Sort of.
No, you're making me want to show it to my kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe. You might, nah, I don't know if they're old enough. I would look into it first. I would show it to Tommy, who's 13. I think it's PG-13. So, like, maybe when they're a little older. Like, would you show them Streets of Fire?
I don't know that one.
God, I hate the fact that you don't know Walter Hill well enough. Like, I can't keep calling back to these things. You know the Warriors, right?
I'm familiar with the Warriors.
I swear to God, if you weren't. No, but it's so like, okay. Put that aside. Like, what's another rock opera I'm trying to think of at the moment that's like just kind of like, would you consider? No, that's not. That can't be. It's more mockumentary. I don't care. It's just so anyway. This little girl is a farm girl. Her father was a rambler. They're called Odessa Clan. He plays guitar, and he's destined to be like the guitarist that saves the world. It's like a different. And I like this actually. I like that it was like a different world. Like they didn't try to build off us and say it's the future. It's like a different world. I like the like world building they did in this, and to take the review a little more seriously because it is a wild movie with good music. Although, like I said, it's a taste. I think maybe younger people would really like the music in this. It seems very kind of sad at times.
Okay,
but I like the sound to it, and it's very simple sad. Is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like teenagers would like, you know what I mean? Like we had our simple sads back in the day, you know. So like stuff like that, like this works on that level. The beautiful imagery, set building is really nice. They built it, like I said, they built like a really cool world where Sadie Sink's character Odessa, who has now become a new Rambler after her mom died.
Oh, I didn't realize that was her.
That is her from.
I see it now.
I cannot place anybody else in this movie, and I did that on purpose. I just did not recognize anybody, so I wanted to just focus on their characters rather than going like she does a good job. Sadie Sink is Sadie Sink's a better actor than she is a singer.
Mm.
And in this, it's like you really have to lose yourself in the movie. You have to immerse yourself in the movie. Because it's a musical and because it's that fantasy rock opera, like a heavy metal or stuff like that. Like when you watch that, you don't watch that and say, okay, this is all like reality. I'm watching Spotlight. No, you need to treat it like you're watching something completely on a different plane, maybe get into it a little bit, have a beer or two and watch and enjoy. right? If it's legal in your state, go for it and just really go in and enjoy Odessa. I think it's worth the watch at least once. The story is interesting at times, but it drags out a little too much. Even the ending was just kind of like a little too long for me. Like, it's just like, I feel like you could have really tightened this up, and it's beautiful to look at. But when you're a musical, if you have a lot of like little dead spaces here and there, or it stretches a little too much, it's like The Sound of Music. Boom, right there. I can explain. That's one of the reasons I do not like that movie. Nothing happens throughout the entire movie until the last 10 minutes, whatever. But my point being is, between the music, it's very drawn out, and it's like it's too drawn out. You know, and it's stretched, because this is like an hour and 50 minutes or an hour, maybe 40 minutes, something like that. And it just felt like it could have been maybe an hour and 25 and really been pretty tight. Probably worked well. I think that's the downside to a lot of movies today, especially, and I'm not complaining. Again, here's the thing, like, go see Odessa, because Odessa is an original movie. A lot of original movies have been coming out lately that I think everybody should go check out. I talked about Love Hurts earlier and stuff. I would say A Working Man, but again, it's a carbon copy of everything pretty much since Transporter. So, you know, go watch the barrage of other ones. If you want to watch a really funny action movie, Novocaine just came out. Jack Quaid is great in it. It's an original type of story. It's fun. But then to bring it back to this, where this is an original tale. But it's also just like, it's original in a sense of like the characters. Like, the story itself is very, you know, same as Star Wars. It's the hero's journey. It's Odessa. You know, it's the Odyssey. It's she has to go on this whole long journey. So we've seen that portion of it before, but what she's encountering along the way, it's almost Greek tragedy-esque, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So I know I'm like kind of gushing. I only gave it a 2 because I think it's worth checking out, but it's not one that I think is gonna stay with me forever. The music isn't as that memorable, you know. In fact, one of the best ways I think I might be able to put this is, it's almost like if you took a whole series of, it's like campaign ads for cologne, and put them together, and then try to tell a story in between them. You know what I mean? Like an actual, like, okay, now these characters have to encounter after all the shit we just saw in the commercial. All of that stuff's what dragged. So the cologne commercial parts of it were really good. That's about it, though. So yeah, that's my review for this. That's why it's a 2, but I still think it's worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of the aesthetics of a movie, of sound of movie, and the visual effects, and especially cinematography. I think you'll really enjoy this. But in terms of story, music, worth checking out at least once. It's an original movie, so I'm down with it, I think. And so thank you for watching this review. I rambled a little bit, but let's get to our final segment of the night. Mick's movie pick. Speaking of musicals, I'm going back to 1964 with My Fair Lady. That's right. It's April, and we're doing musicals and movies month. We're going to be doing all of our classic film reviews and more, things like that. We're kicking it off with My Fair Lady. This is one I didn't watch until I was older. I watched this. My grandmother loved this movie. She always had the tape. I never got into watching that. She always played Sound of Music more, and I kind of wish she played this more. And Mary Poppins. I'll give her credit to the Mary Poppins too. But and I love Mary Poppins. Nothing against that. Things happen in that. Penguins dance. So, and if you've been watching the whole episode, you'd understand. So, but with My Fair Lady, I watched this. I want to say it was on. Maybe it was the AFI Top 100. I don't know if it was on there or not. I can't recall, but it was some list, I think, that I watched it, or it might have been the Best Picture winner list where I had to watch it for the first time. And I watched it, and I was like, all right, this is interesting. I liked it. I was like, this is an interesting movie. Like, the music's not great. Again, like if I had to compare it to the movie I just reviewed, Odessa, I'd be like, this is one where I don't love all the musical numbers. They were fine. They're catchy enough. but like, what's his name was just Rex Harrison was just talking through it, and she was dubbed. So like, the music was fine, but I really liked the story in between, and I liked the acting and the chemistry between the characters, and it's like a reverse Odessa, if you will, in a weird way with that movie that I just reviewed. So go check that out. But My Fair Lady is my choice for this one, and keep watching. You got to make sure you like and you subscribe and everything. So, but I am going to be doing on Thursday classic film review of My Fair Lady. You can check it out. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. I always appreciate the kind words you guys have been putting up there and watching and listening. I want to thank you, Joe Schmo, my good old buddy Roy. So we are just we're chugging along. I think we're going to be hanging out a little bit more going down the line. Joe, if you want to join in some more. So we're having a good time with it. We will be more prepared going forward, but I needed an episode of just like, okay, I'm going to enjoy myself.
Me too.
Did you?
It's been so long.
You got 3 out of 5. Not bad. Oh man, it has been a while because like I've always like tried to like have it not scripted because I like to leave it free form or whatever, but itinerary based, if you will. It's sort of that sort of script, but yeah, I don't know. I think I've just been going crazy lately.
Me too.
We're having some fun ones. So if anybody needs any Girl Scout cookies, hit me up. We could probably get you hooked up with on that one. So make sure you let us know. Just 2 dads peddling Girl Scout cookies.
Yep.
Where we go. They fell off the back of a truck. I'm the one saying it, and I have no Girl Scout cookies. So
now I'm picturing us trying to sell them in parking lots, like pulling up in a van. Remember those guys?
You want some caramel delights, formerly known as Samoas?
Well, yeah, they would have like stereo equipment or VCRs or something, trying to sell them out of the back of a van. You remember those guys?
Dude, if we had the trucks, oh my God, yeah, like in every 80s New York City movie where you looked at.
No, I mean,
dude,
it happened in Florida when we were in college. You never encountered them?
No, who?
There were guys around the college who would pull up in gas stations and parking lots and stuff that would be like, "Hey guys, we got all these clearance stereo speakers."
Oh yeah.
And we're like, we're poor college students. We don't even have, even if it's super cheap, we don't have enough.
Oh my God, dude, I'll never forget the time I went to it was a pawn shop and it was in I think it was in Orlando. No, it was Winter Park. I want to say it was on Aloma.
Okay.
If I'm getting it right, it's been years since I've even remembered Aloma. But I think it was on Aloma, and I went to this pawn shop, and I think I got my because I went in there for a camcorder at the time.
Oh yeah.
At the time, that long ago, to shoot some stuff with. I think it was I can't even remember what it was at the time, but it was a good one. And I got that, and then I was gonna get something. I was thinking I was gonna get a guitar or something. And like I go up and I put it down and stuff, and the guy's like, "Hey, want a gun?" like to purchase? It's like, yeah, I got them cheap, and I'm like, it's amazing. I love it, and that was many years ago. So I did not purchase said gun. I'll say that, but that happened. And that's still like it was so wild to me. I think that was my Florida. Well, I was gonna say that was my Florida moment. I had a lot of Florida moments.
We had a lot of Florida moments.
There's no like I got into a war with raccoons, and only people from Florida understand that. Only people from Florida, I think, understand that. Like, if you say, "Yeah, I got into a war with raccoons," and they know that shit's legit. Dude, remember when we had the alligator on our school campus?
Oh yeah, there was one that by my apartment that was dead, and there were vultures eating it.
I don't know. With all of the nights I got hammered and wandered, I don't know how I'm alive. And I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, you know, like anybody could have killed you or that. I'm talking about eaten by alligators. Joe, I've wandered. I've even camped in Florida. How have I not been eaten?
Why would you camp in Florida?
I mean, it was fun.
That's like camping in Australia. I guess Australia's worse, but
oh my, I think Florida is the Australia of the US. It kind of is. It makes sense. But I for all the shit Florida gets, and I do mean they get a lot of shit. I enjoyed my time in you.
Oh yeah.
You are like a one-night stands, sensual one-night stands where both parties the next day were just like, all right, it was a good night together, but I don't want to know you anymore.
Sounds about right.
And then I was just died, and so no, that's what Florida was. It's like I don't want to know you anymore.
Yeah,
but I'm glad I did.
This is good. We're gonna cut it off right here, and we're gonna move on to somewhere else.
And again, like, listen, it's wild in Florida, wild times, and I'm not even saying that for anything like insane. Like, it wasn't like when we went, it wasn't like this insane like political state that it, you know, like we seem to think. Well, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't leaning in that way.
Yeah, I mean, shit just hadn't gotten as crazy as it is now yet.
It was wild. It was a wild time in Florida. Yeah. Anyway, what happens in Florida stays in Florida, I guess. I don't. Nothing really happened in Florida though. It was just school. It was school all the freaking time.
It's school and getting drunk.
It was school and getting drunk on a back porch. And then okay, ladies. Like, listen, I'm not saying this doesn't exist. I'm just talking about guys who lean to the left. Independently lean to the left. No, but like, what did we talk about on those back porch? I like to think like we made up bullshit. Like, we were geeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty wild. Like, and when I say wild, lame. It's just a bunch of guys just kind of like, yeah, okay, so yeah.
I mean, it was all that same kind of like, you know, who would win in a fight, Superman or Iron Man? You know,
oh my
like,
God, it was very Big Bang Theory. Oh my God. What happened to that level of geek? I feel like geeks now just go straight to 60 and they're just like, I'm going to bulldoze everybody. And it's like, we're that level of geek where it was like, we kind of understood. We had a thicker skin.
Without wanting to get too much into a tangent, is that like geek culture has been, at least a significant chunk of it has been co-opted by political, like, oh no, you can't have a girl in the game. Now it's woke. And then and you have like a whole sector of that geek culture that loses its mind because they've been programmed to think that, oh, they're stealing games from you. Like, no, dude, you can still play a game. It's all right. You don't have to like every game that comes out.
Yeah.
It's okay if there is a game that is well received, but is not your cup of tea. It's okay. It doesn't hurt your geek credit.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's this shit. And I've been doing it 14 years, so shut up. So, so like, it was a lot different back in the day, and I wish it was like it was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was like, you know, remember like the Mario Likes Movies days and stuff like that, like the old school shit I worked on. You know, even Mystery Elephant. It was like every week was like a freeing week of just like talking about whatever. Mm-hmm. So there was something to that, but that was a genre within itself almost in podcasting and stuff. So like there was room for it. Now everyone's got a freaking podcast. You have one viral moment, you have a podcast. And like the reason I get so uppity about that is because you changed the culture to something completely different. You changed a beautiful podcasting culture that was a growing business, and it was not exploding, but maybe booming, and it was growing, and then oversaturated it to the point where most bailed afterwards. You know what I mean? So like they're always canceling this shit. So it makes me a little sad when I think about those things and like what this like kind of has grown into, and it's just getting tiring, honestly. So, but to end it on a down note, no, it was more of an introspective note. I'm very happy. I'm tired for Cory Booker. I'm tired of talking for Cory Booker. So, no, but congratulations to him for making the whole thing. Now, if we can get some actual change done, that'd be great. But good change.
Good change. Yes.
But the best way to do that is to say, listen, everybody, you're awesome. Take care of yourselves. That's important. Because if you don't take care of yourselves, I'm going to come after you. No, seriously, everybody, stay classy. Take care of yourselves. And you have a great week. And we will talk to you next week. Stay snobbish. Snobbish. That was horrible.